Likutei Moharan. Huh? Yeah. Yes. Tefillah lechavoko k'toyer tes. Amen. We are in the middle of Sif Gimel. This is what he said, V'roya zoinois ya'abed hoin. And a shepherd of prostitutes will lose a fortune. So the Gemara said, Al tikrei mehoincha, hoin, don't call it from your fortune, ela migroincha, from your throat. There's another pasuk that says, Kavetz Hashem mehoincha. Honor Hashem, praise Hashem from your wealth. So Chazal says on that, don't read hoincha, don't read fortune, money, but groincha, your throat. Honor Hashem from your throat. So the Rebbe takes that interpretation where the hoincha and groincha are interchangeable. He says, Lo zoinois, the one who shepherds prostitutes, in other words, the one who is into that particular taiva, adikam behoincha ela groincha. That means the p'nis lashon kodesh, because misha poigim babris, somebody who is poigim in the covenant. This is lo zoinois, that's shepherd of prostitution. Me'abed lashon kodesh, he loses the lashon kodesh. This is what we said before, that honor Hashem from your fortune. Chazal said, don't come mehoincha, but migroincha, don't read it from your belongings, your fortune, but from your throat. So we're talking about Lashon Kodesh, kabed daika, talking about dafka honor. Honor Hashem. Lama dafka honor? Kabed daika. That aspect of honor depends on the skin of kavod. The opposite of kavod. The opposite of kavod is derision and shame. And where they're all resting in the place of arayos, of sexual misconduct. As it says that Tikunu v'loid b'shashu, but Oman v'chava, that they were not ashamed. As in Boshes Elam Kumalayim, the only shame that there is in the place of arayim, of sexual misconduct. That when a person sins in arayos, he gets bushas and buyas. And you can see, people can literally get away with anything except that. Except that. The minute there is, it doesn't matter that what constitutes sexual misconduct by society is actually a moving target, because society moves what they consider to be okay, moral, in this particular manner, the way they feel, any which way they feel. Today, like the worst deviations and perversions are considered to be like, if you're against that, it's like you're a Nazi. You're like worse than a murderer. But nevertheless, where society puts the line, okay, this is where it is. Anybody who was on the other side of the line, that's it, he's finished. No matter what. they have this guy, what's his name, Cosby. Now, the way that what he was doing, that the way society was behaving in the 70s. They were all drugging, not 70s, 80s, but they were all drugging one another, and that's what we're doing. But today, it's considered so that nothing you can say, will help him. That's it, it's finished. Arise is nothing. Same thing. Blazer Belan said, he was talking about the Rebbe says, Bizyonis, this the biggest Hamtoka, it's the Iker Tshuva, is Ishma Bizyon Vino Ishtoik. So Blazer, like a few years ago, he was talking about what Bizyonis do. And he said, if one of the big Rebbes during, before the Second World War, like the Alexander Rebbe or the Ger Rebbe would accept upon himself the Bizoyon, that people will say that he was over the Issa of Eshas Ish, La'aleinu. And he would become like a joke to everyone. He said he would have prevented the Second World War. So, the Inyan is Bizyonis, derision, insults, has to do with sexual misconduct. Always. The hepech, where a person is kadosh in that particular inyan, he's zoche to comment. En bosh zeh kom aray. Aray is gam abris, knas all. The milah, the bris milah, the circumcision, is a tikkun of the orla. And gam abris is obviously gam in the milah. So therefore it is orla. The opposite of milah is orla. This is what the children of Yaakov said to Shechem and Chamo his son. We cannot do this thing to give our sister to a man who has an orla, who has a foreskin. For it is a bizoyer, it is a shame for us. Comes to allude that orla brings about shame. Gama bris brings to shame. V'zeh it says kabed, shu hepech shel chepos b'zyonos. Honor Hashem. Honor is the opposite of derisions, of b'zyonos, of others. Shu toile behoincha, which is it depends on what? On hoincha. In other words, begroincha, which is the shleimus of Lashon Kodesh. ברוך אתה אבינו אלוהינו מלך העולם שעה כולנו Finally somebody understands you. V'shem Yosef, and the name of Yosef himself, Al Shem Shleimus Lashon HaKodesh. He is named after the perfection of Lashon Kodesh. Shu Tikkun HaBris, which is the rectification of the covenant. V'chinas, this is what Rachel said once she called him Yosef. Osaf Eloikim Eschelposi, Hashem has wiped off, has gathered, he collected my shame. Kiboy Talut, because in him the honor depends. Shame is only in the place of arayos, as we said before. Yosef, as we said before, that was zocher to shleimus lashon kodesh, to tikkun habris. He's zocher to covenant. That's why it's called Yosef. That shame is being gathered away. V'nochosh shuara koilel anal. Nochosh, the serpent, is that overall evil that combines all the 70 nations. That is the flame of the type of niyuf, of fornication. When there is no completion, there is no perfection, then, because we said it's a seesaw, If the Lashon Kodesh goes up, those go down. But if there's no Lashon Kodesh, then the Nachash, the serpent, goes above. He's on the high and it controls Lashon Kodesh. B'vchinas Nachash utanus al bisro. That the authority of the snake is on the flesh. I know shesholet b'chinas Chava, that he rules over the b'china of Chava, upon which Chava, upon whom it is said Bsar Misaroi, flesh of his own flesh, of a Rishon. Chava is called flesh. Shem b'chinas B'sar Kodesh. Kodesh was the word B'sar Kodesh. This is the mitzvah of Milo, Tikkun Abris, and Chava, who is b'chinas Lashon Kodesh, which depends on Tikkun Abris, is called Basar, is called flesh, alluding to in Kedusha as Basar Kodesh, Tikkun Abris. That when the Lashon Kodesh is perfect by a person, and he's ordered to Tikkun Abris, but when the Lashon Kodesh is imperfect by a person, the snake, the serpent, has a koyach to lure this person into Taivas Niyut. V'zeh b'chinas Nachash shepito lechava v'itil bazom.
Only if a person has Shlemus Lashon Kodesh, he could overcome the Taivas.
Mm-hmm. They're connected to one another. They're both. You can tell by a person's speech where he's going.
You said this once before. That only a person that has Shlemus Lashon Kodesh, he could fight this. And the Sitra Achar has no fight, has no Shlemus over him, there's not much Shlita over the person.
Yeah. This is what it's like. When a person is very careful, so the thing is that you can start from either side. You can start by guarding what you're saying and speaking a lot of Gurim Kedoshim. You're Zechet to Kedushas Abris. Or you can start, if you have a problem with talking, you start with Kedushas Abris. You guard your Enayim, you guard your Machshava, obviously you guard your actions, you're Zechet to Lashon Kodesh. That both lead to one another. It says this is Shenochosh Shepita Lechava. The Nochosh has seduced Chava, v'hiti bazoma, and he contaminated her. The loss of contamination that the Gemara uses here is supposedly factual. But Arizal says that obviously the Dom not Kapshuton. It's not that the Nachash had relations with Chava Chas v'Shalom. That's not the issue. But the issue is the Rebbe says that when two people talk and one person receives Eitzah from the other, he's like receiving. It's like a mating of the minds. And the one who receives the Eitzah is receiving Zera from the other one. This is Eitzah Tzadikim, is a Kula Zera Emes. The Eitzah, the advice of Tzadikim, is a seed of truth. Because what grows from it is Etz Chaim, is life. It's only by us that we are so seeped in thickness of Gashmius that the minute that you hear such a mashal, immediately the mind start roving. Sorry about that. Anyhow, be that as it may. That's why the whole limud of Kabbalah, is filled with descriptions of kivyochel physical contact, or very intimate physical contact. But it's a mashal. But when a person when the blood is thick with the taiva, it's impossible for a person to turn his mind away from the physicality, the physical aspect of it, and to understand the nimshal, to understand, what is being meant from that. Because of that, the Rebbe said that if a person, anybody was acquainted with physiology, with anatomy, he says it's already fitting, it's already roy that this particular taiva would totally disgust him. Totally disgust him. He says, but the oilam, the bad is so mixed up with the good, they can't possibly fathom how can a person be memorized with this type of. How can a person just you'd be disgusted by this type of. It's only when you separate the good from the bad, and it's there's a I don't know if it's Arab or Pakistani or whatever it is, but the person was a cleric. He decided he doesn't want to fight the taiva of Nashim. But the Arabs, the taiva of Niyuf is like rampant. They're the ones screaming, sneers. They're dirty, shit dirty. That's the only thing they talk about. It never happened to me. It's like I didn't understand. In the hospital, I was standing with a couple of members. I don't know. They look like that, whatever. Immediately started asking me about this. That's what they talk about. That's the only thing they do. So this guy decided he's had enough, and he had himself castrated. He said, within hours, he says, all the women in the world became my sisters. That's it. No more problems. He was a young man. He had a lot of amun, a lot of fervor. In fact, he was driving him crazy. He went ahead, he did it, finished, done. He said, it's really a good life. Literally. Of course, it's not a tachas. Tachas is to break the time. It's not just to remove it. But it's menuchas hanefesh is when you remove that, then you just look at this and you look at people that they can't possibly understand. How can you be memayas? How can you just like that what is zuma, that filth that the Nachash has inserted into Chava by his advice, go eat from the tree. It's a ruach sa'ara. It's a storm wind. It's a ruach shtus. It's a ruach of foolishness. It creates the opposite of Chava, which Amasker is called Eshes Ksilus. That's the overall evil of all the nations. And it goes and it seduces the Ruach HaKodesh, Shuloshin Kodesh, which is tantamount to Loshin Kodesh, which is a synonym of Isha Chachama, for wise woman. The wisdom of women have built their homes. And it damps filth into it And וזה בחינס, as it says about, Kodesh Baruch Hu said to Cain, Lapetach chatas roivets, to the opening, the sin is waiting, is crouching. Lapetach, sorry, to the opening. Hainu pischei picho shel Lashon Kodesh, the openings of your mouth of Lashon Kodesh. Shachatas hazeh, that sin of the Ra Koilel, of the overall evil of the 70 nations, roivet zinok mimeno, it is crouching there to suck out of this, to be machted the person in Taivas Niyuf. Let's just encapsulate. Tomorrow we'll go on, but I just want to encapsulate a little bit. We explained that there is a new Lashon Kodesh, that the world with which the world was created. That Lashon Kodesh depends on Tikkun HaBris. Vis-a-vis that, the polar opposite of that, is Ra Koilel, that's the overall evil of all the 70 nations. That's the flame of Taivas Niyuf, of the desire for fornication. When a person has achieved perfection, Lashon Kodesh, Taivas Niyuf, the urge to fornicate does not have control over him. But when a person does not have Shlemus Lashon Kodesh, Taivas Niyuf has control over him. Tomorrow we'll learn that there is a klipas noga in between them, where this is where the game is played. That's where the battlefield is. This is Hashem to be learned tomorrow.
Can I just
Just
moment?